are listening to the Adult Learners Career Pathways Steps to Success podcast, coming to you from Mercer County Community College, the Community Education and Training Department, where helping our adult learners succeed is our number one priority. Hi, everyone. This is Kim, your host on today's show. We have the pleasure of speaking with Rebecca Clark from the publisher Burlington English. Welcome, Rebecca. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for having me, Kim. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here.
We are so happy to have you here. We are going to talk about Burlington English and what the benefits are for our students who use this program. But first, I just want to jump in and say Burlington English is a publisher with over 30 years of publishing educational materials used by millions of students around the world, and the digital materials that have been created for students to learn English. I think this program is amazing. I see the results in the classroom. I'm really excited to have you on today because I want the students to know really what these benefits are and how they can take advantage of them. Before we dive into all of this stuff, why don't we just take a minute and tell us a little bit about who Rebecca Clark is?
So I'm a customer representative at Burlington English, which allows me to really help programs figure out their goals and objectives surrounding how they're using the program. So it's been a really wonderful experience, and I have an incredible diversity of programs, which has been pretty awe-inspiring that use our program. And I just came up on my 1-year anniversary.
So congratulations.
Confetti everywhere. It's been an incredible experience this past year. The learning curve is one of my favorite things just because there's so much that you get to educate yourself on and so many different features you get to explore that help facilitate the efficacy of students using this. And so I am a local to Philadelphia. Don't hold it against me that I'm across the bridge, but I visit your wonderful state quite often. And I'm excited for finally being able to get back out in there at some point in the future and see you all in person. So yeah. I
have to ask one question since you are a Philadelphia resident. Are you an Eagles fan?
I absolutely am. I bleed green, and I am a little crestfallen that we did not get it past the playoffs. Way to bring up a sore subject, Kim.
Well, I am not an Eagles fan, but anyway, that doesn't matter.
We can still work together in partnership.
Sorry, I know you guys did your best in the playoffs, but well, I guess not everybody can make it to the end. Let's talk about what does Burlington English offer the student?
It is an online platform, so it's a digital platform that's available for students to use on any device. So whether it be a Chromebook or a tablet or smartphone, it's got that wonderful accessibility and flexibility, and it helps prepare them for post-secondary education and job training, and is really a great fit for anyone from someone who's looking for civics and that naturalization process, that practice with the interviewing questions, someone who's interested in exploring a new career or changing careers in terms of like a job ladder, like taking that next step, or someone who's just looking for English language proficiency. So it's got something for everyone, which I think is one of my favorite parts of it.
Is the program a good fit for somebody who doesn't speak any English at all? Or is it helpful if they have a little bit of the English language down pat?
We have our basics level, which is quite literally for non-English speakers who have very low literacy, even in their own primary language.
The vocabulary practice. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I think that is an amazing tool for the students that they could use at home, in school, wherever. Let's talk vocabulary for a minute.
So of course, as a literacy person myself, that is probably one of the biggest proponents for success, is really helping them with that prior knowledge of content vocabulary. So we have it in words and phrases built throughout content in different situations and in different content and themes. And then we have the activities that allow them to practice the pronunciation and record the pronunciation of those words and phrases. And then we also have a separate component called vocabulary practice that gives additional chances for that pronunciation practice, for that translation, and for contextual use of the word and phrase. My favorite part, and I'm a little biased for gamification here, is we have vocabulary games. I think it's really nice because a lot of our learners don't have a tremendous amount of digital literacy skills. And so those vocabulary games kind of gives them the autonomy, that choice to choose how they want to learn and interact with the vocabulary words. And it really helps them feel more comfortable with the program. And they're fun. I mean, like, who doesn't like a nice crossword? But you're still learning. So The vocabulary practice is just a tremendous turning point. Anytime they go in and do recordings, there's this artificial intelligence engine, the wizard behind the curtain, who's listening and help evaluate what they need to adjust with their pronunciation. And there's a whole interactive program that helps them do that. And it's transformative. It's made so many people feel more confident and more empowered with a voice that can be understood. And that's huge.
It's so important. Being a career coach, I love the career specific word list you guys have, how you just create the word list that has to do with that particular career. I mean, how helpful is that? That is great. Again, I've seen the students in the classroom using it, practicing. I think they love it. It's a great tool. What is the English language civics program and how can it benefit our students?
I think one of the demographics that really, really helps is people who are uprooted, maybe dramatically or traumatically, even sometimes, and brought over to the United States, such as refugees who are completely unaware of how to function in the United States. It gives them really just incredibly valuable lessons on how to fill out a healthcare form or how to do voter registration, how to call for an emergency if something happens. And it allows them to feel safe and how to really advocate for themselves and their family. And I think that's a really important first step for a lot of people, is to address those needs before they start thinking about more academic needs like the career change or the language acquisition.
That's so important. I can't imagine coming into a country and not knowing the language and trying to figure out how do I register my child for school. It must be so difficult, but this sounds like it's an excellent program to help the students benefit. Now, the workplace reading and writing activities, I guess when we get beyond the basics and we start to get into the career end, I saw that there's tools there that help prepare for job interviews, how to fill out an application, how do I fill out my timesheet? That's important too. Like, you start a new job, you don't want to go in there not knowing like simple things like that. And safety signs, how important is that on the job, especially in warehousing? You have to be aware of your surroundings all the time. Is there anything else you wanted to add maybe on workplace reading and writing activities for the students?
You brought up such salient points. Just the fact that it, again, empowers them to be successful, takes them through that whole process. The career exploration and soft skills course is quite possibly my favorite because it readdresses the idea of mindset and like determining and evaluating short-term and long-term goals. And I think that's a new process for a lot of people. That's really empowering. It gives them the ability to really address what's motivating them and what's important to them. And then that kind of drives them throughout the process of preparing for that job interview, being able to write a resume that reflects all of the incredible experience and things that they've accomplished. But then what you're saying too, like that timesheet, that safety sign thing. So now they're in the job setting and what do they do? Like, how do they function and execute their role successfully? So it really encompasses all the things that are going to affect them in that workplace setting.
And I'm going to lead right into how does Burlington English help the students with career options? I mean, we could teach anything in the world, but how are we helping these students trying to find the right career for them?
Right. And knowledge is power in this case, 100%. And that we show them those 16 job clusters and we show them information about every single one of them in the form of a job card. So we give them like a little anecdotal person's experience in that role, but then we break it down in terms of expectations and what skills and what education they might need. So they get a really full picture of what that job entails. And then connected to that, you have a career ladder. So in case this is a short-term goal, this job that you're looking at, but you eventually want to do something different that's related in that field, we give them the full potential of what that could look like. And I think that's really important for people to have in front of them to see so they know in 10 years' time, where could I wind up?
We're talking about with career options, we're helping them first develop the English language, get them digital literacy, employable skills, career exploration and soft skills, like you just mentioned. I saw in the program too, the career pathways planning, you have 70 career word lists. Tell us what that means.
So the word list, and I think one of my favorite parts again about this whole program is that we really have something for every level of learner, is just vocabulary. So that's perfect for your beginner level learner. And it goes through just the vocabulary for all of those specific jobs, those careers. And it teaches them in the same way that they learn the vocabulary in the other courses. So it has the definition, the translation, has that recording, and it has that contextual use. And it's really empowering to have that. And then for the other levels, there's the soft skills for the intermediate level. And then there's full-fledged career courses for specific careers for your advanced level learners. So we really make sure we're supporting all of the different level of learners.
I love it how you could go from no English to advanced English, and it's got something for everybody. This is such an excellent program. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close out the show?
Well, I would like to thank you for the phenomenal work that you do as a counselor, the person who's really being the catalyst for such incredible change in so many people's lives. But for programs who don't have a Kim, which is very sad, but a reality, the Career Exploration and Soft Skills course does have a virtual career counselor. So we wanted to make sure that that wasn't something that anyone had to sacrifice or miss out on, because going through that process is very intimidating and produces a lot of anxiety. And we want to make sure that they have someone to support them through that process.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Rebecca. I appreciate you taking your time out of your day today and share with us all this really good, solid information about the program and who Burlington English is. We truly appreciate having you on the show. We would love to have you on in the future down the road. We'll see if some new programs pop up or something exciting we could talk about. I thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Well, thank you, Kim, so much for having me. And as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you.